everybody, and welcome back to today's video. I want to talk to you about the narcissist codependency. They build their whole life not being vulnerable, and that's all to make them feel like they're independent. So they're trying to build this life of independence, and they feel if they keep everything hidden, they will have independence because they won't be vulnerable. Nobody will be able to use their words or their information against them. But now in relationships, they go from relationship to relationship, and they're the complete codependent. They can never be alone, but they don't look at it like that. They look at it more or less like they're wanted and needed, and they're that valuable, so they can just go from one person to the next person. They rationalize this out. But really, they're the most codependent person in the world because they can never be alone. They kind of get the idea that they're independent and that all these people want them, and they just can't keep up with them. They're so awesome. So they go from relationship to relationship. Once they lie to themselves, then they believe the lie, and that's it. That's why if they can convince you of the lie or convince you that you did something, then you did it. And part of that is because when you agree to stuff like that, you get the reaping what they've sown. If you're going to agree to that you did it and you didn't do it, and you switch energy with them. But they're really the most codependent, but they don't see it like that. And whenever you're fueling them up, sometimes they don't even realize they think they've done it. They really think that when they're successful, and it's because they're with this primary source supply, it's been pouring their heart out, pouring their fuel out, leaking fuel all over the place, that they've done it. The empath's primary source supply had nothing to do with it. And then they can only do these short cycles outside of, say, the borderline. They cycle 3 to 4 months, and then they'll self-sabotage it, or they'll get you to break up with them, which they call the reverse discard, when they get you to get so fed up that you break up with them, but they cause that. And then they can use that as victimhood into the next relationship. And that's partially because they don't have love, and then you're tapped out of your energy. What's going to happen is they're going to have to get more vulnerable at that period of time, but they can't. It started out that they didn't want to, maybe as a child or something, but now it's gotten to the point to where now they're fixed. They're fixed wherever they are, they're fixed. And that's why some of you may think that, well, I can fix them, and then they're going to end these cycles that they're doing with all these people. I'll be able to fix them. Or if you learn narcissism, you can fix them or something. Accommodate, more accommodation, right? But you can't fix them, and what you see as their rotation is going to be for life, y'all. It's not like they're going to find somebody at some point and then settle down and not become a narcissist anymore, or not be narcissist anymore. They're going to be a narcissist for the rest of their life, and these cycles never end. In fact, they might get faster because their wrecking ball comes out quicker, because they're not going to have the energy and feel like doing that as they get older. And they get more and more hate, anger, and jealousy and bitterness built up in them that's got to spew out. And so that's why you see them run short cycles, and partially because they can't be vulnerable. And the longer you're with somebody, you got to become vulnerable. If they even had the chance to emotionally become intact again, it would have to be something that would be a longer relationship, not a shorter one. So it's built into the construct, because the longer you're with somebody, you do get emotional attachment. But it seems as if they can't even do that for the ones that do stay, because their primary source gets to a point to where they have no boundaries. And a lot of times the primary source will just start an alternate life themselves. You become similar to them. Sometimes they'll end up, staying married, but they will have an alternate life. Maybe with a partner, may not. It may just be like they sleep at other ends of the house or something, but they will self-sabotage because it's built into it. And then they want to get the biggest bang for their buck, meaning they want to come in, siphon your energy, and then they want to go. That's what they want. And then they also feel like they're missing out. This FOMO thing, fear of missing out, they have that built into the construct, that if they're not being enticed by somebody else, always having somebody on the line, a second and a third. They always have a second, but I mean a third is what they're always going for, or fourth. They need to have that energy going. They got to keep it moving. It's like a real estate agent that has to build a pipeline. They're working off straight commission, so they continue to work on getting new clients over and over and over. The faster they can get them, the more money they make. Well, that's how it is for the narcissist with their relationships. They got to keep getting people in that pipeline. Then when they miss you, what they miss about you, if you're that primary source that was really good to them, was chosen to wake up and break the curse and walk away from them and discard them, then what happens, 95% of the people aren't used to this. The narcissists aren't used to this, and the empaths are asleep, or they're somewhat toxic people, or a toxic enabler, and they will never leave, and they're caught by the spell, and that's just that. So when you leave, when you wake up, you get information, you get your mind, your heart right, and you leave, you discard them, they get re-infatuated with you because they had destroyed you, but when they first met you, they were infatuated about who you were and what you did and how you did it, and everything that is culminated into who you are and your personality. But by the time that they discard you, normally on another cycle, like the ones previous, you were like ripped to shreds, tore up to pieces. They had no respect for you. And the longer you're with somebody and you keep giving to them and falling apart, you look like you're weak. And they say to themselves, why would this person do this? They know they're a piece of crap and they're using people. So they don't have respect for people that date them, at least once they get past that love bomb phase. But they re-idolize you over time, because after a year or so, you discard them, you refuse Hoovers, you keep it moving, you break the rumination, you get emotionally intact and off of them, you build good boundaries, you build a good support system, you kick all the evil people out of your life. You start working on yourself, you go inside, and you don't react, you respond, and you start, changing a lot of things in your life. And with that, you can get back to your baseline and then elevate from there even higher than you ever were, because you got woke to this. When you do that, they get enticed again, they get infatuated again. And that's why a lot of times you will find that the narcissist, over say a 2-year span of you refusing Hoovers and not talking with them, and you're just working on you being the best you, increasing, growing, glowing. When you woke, baby. And so you keep it moving, and the narcissist is in your rear view, and you ain't giving them not a moment of your time. When you give them indifference, when you give them nothing, if they come at you, not interested, when you got them blocked everywhere and you just have nothing to say to them. And if they come to you, you just kind of look at them funny, or you smile at them, and you really just have nothing. There's nothing. You're indifferent with them. You could come or go, I don't care. I'd rather you not be in my eyesight. But what can I do for you? What do you need? When you act like that, that's what hurts them, destroys them, but it also makes them more obsessed with you. So you may have that problem, that issue. You just keep it moving, and they're just a curse on your life, and you just got to know that. They're going to always be in your rear view. They're going to be that unwanted fan eventually, as you get increasingly grow in your stature and you heal. That's the thing too, is the narcissist hated you to begin with because the way you operated, how cool you did it, how awesome you were, and you did it with vulnerability. There is beauty in vulnerability. The problem is we had a little too much for people we didn't know. We didn't understand our boundaries. We didn't keep our fuel and our energy close to our frame like we do now. We didn't know we were groomed for this stuff. We didn't know how much we people pleased and how much we were lacking in love for ourselves. And when we go through those processes and we get healing. Then they really hate you. They're really infatuated, because what happens, they can't heal, and you did it. They cannot change. They have made a deal with the devil, and they're fixed. And all they could do is evil. So when they're in your life, they freeze you. They're like they'll bring you down into a spiral, and it will get worse and worse. It'll be like, worry, and then fear, and then hate and anger and all that. If you're with them long enough and you keep switching that energy with them, you'll become very similar to them, a toxic enabler. So get your bags, grab your keys, and get out of there. Until next time, soldier, peace be out.